confusing patterns, difficulty visualizing. Let's learn pattern recognition. In this video, I will empower you with logical thinking steps to master pattern-based reasoning. Watch till the end, learn concepts, apply them, and make sure you cover the process memory section at the end of the video. That is the part where I'll train you how to remember what you learned today so that you can apply it every time you get pattern-based questions in reasoning. Reasoning is a life skill. Let's take a step together to master it. We'll begin with a question. Let me explain the question to you. Look at the screen. I'll read out the question first. Given above is a schematic map of the metro lines in a city with rectangles denoting terminal stations. So A, B, C, D, M, P, N, Q, these are terminal stations. Diamonds denoting junction stations. R, T, S, V, these are junction stations. And the small filled up circles, they denote other stations. Each train runs either on the east-west line or the north-south direction, but not both. So that direction map is given on the above the diagram. All trains stop for 2 minutes at each of the junction stations on the way, and for 1 minute at each of the other stations. It takes 2 minutes to reach the next station for trains going in the east-west direction, and 3 minutes to reach the next station for trains going in the north-south direction. From each terminal station, the first train starts at 6 a.m. The last train leaves the terminal station at midnight. Otherwise, during the service hours, there are to and fro metro service every 15 minutes in the north-south line and every 10 minutes in the east-west lines. Assume that if someone reaches a station exactly at the time a train is supposed to leave, he or she can catch the train. So this is what the overall set of information given in the set is. Now you will get questions based on this information. This is highly unstructured. You have got a story here. There are so many stations, types of stations, so many trains, different timings, different rules. How do we categorize this fast so that when we come to the questions, we are able to tackle every question in less than 1 minute? To do that, you need to structure this information fast, and then you will be in a position that every question will just come and go. Let's proceed. How to structure the information? First, you need to classify the information into types, and then you need to list it down. We'll understand this in parts. Look at the first part. It talks about what kind of stations different types are. Then it also talks about that if the assumption that if someone reaches on time, he or she can catch the train. So this is generic information. This is something which you need to know to proceed with the set. That's the first part of the classification. Moving further, information like these, every train stops 2 minutes at junction and 1 minute at other station. This has numeric values. Okay, look at the next one. 2 minutes to reach the next station when we are talking about the east-west direction, and 3 minutes in the north-south. This again is numeric information. Alright. From each terminal station, the trains start at 6 a.m. ends at midnight, and in the to-fro journey, 15 minutes in the north-south line there is the next train, and 10 minutes in the east-west line there is the next train. Again, this contains numeric information. So see, I have classified in my mind that there is some generic information which I just need to keep there in my mind to understand the set, and then there are some numeric values which I might need to put in somewhere to solve the questions. So the first level classification involves dividing such unstructured information caselet into generic and numeric information. Next, instructing information. Once you have done this, once you have done this categorization, you start listing down the numeric information which is required to get the set started. Let's see. So the first thing which I have written here is the 2 minutes to travel from one station to the other in case of east to west. Now I have noted the waiting times at each regular station. Now I have noted down the time it takes to travel from one station to the other in the north-south line. Now I have noted the waiting time there. Next, I have simply noted down the time taken at a junction station. Now see, this is the pattern which will get followed all throughout in this entire diagram. Do I need to do it for every part of this diagram? No, I'll be wasting time, which I don't intend to do. So what I will do rather is just look at this one and now try to see what this pattern, how it makes sense to me. This is called listing down the numeric details into the diagram to get you started. So let's repeat once again. You categorize into parts. Generic one you keep it there. You separate and list down the numeric ones, and among those you start by listing down in the diagram the ones which are required to get you started, the ones which will help you to observe and understand the pattern. So what is pattern recognition? I'll just discuss a small, very simple example with you before I go back to that caselet. Look at this series. What will be the 20th term of the series S? That is what the question is. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. You just write it down till the nth term. You have to tell the 20th term. We all know these are odd numbers. How do you generalize a series? Look at the difference between the first and the second term. Difference is 2. Second and third term, again 2. And the difference is 2 all throughout. So there is a gap of 2. Now look at the first term. I can say it is 2 minus 1. The next one is 2 into 2 minus 1. The next one is 2 into 3 minus 1. That is what the pattern looks like. So the nth term will be 2 into n minus 1. So the 20th term will be 2 into 20 minus 1, that is 39. So the general term here becomes 2n minus 1. Tn is equal to 2n minus 1. That is how you look at numbers and build a pattern in your mind. This was a very simple example, odd numbers, we all know this. But now let's see this ability to recognize patterns. Can we use this in logical reasoning sets? Coming to pattern recognition here, the first step in recognizing patterns is to observe. Look at the listed down numeric values. Next, try to recognize what is consistent here, what can be replicated, because pattern means what? A set of numbers, a set of values which get repeated following some order. So when we observe these, we see that this difference of 2 on the east-west line will always remain 2. That is a constant. And the waiting time will always remain 1. Okay. Similarly, in the north-south line, we see that among stations 3 minutes and waiting time of 1. These are things which are constant. This is the pattern which will get repeated. It will only change depending on one variable, which is the number of stations in between. So this is where I try to build a pattern. So the third step, I try to formulate it. So observe, recognize and formulate. So when you observe, basically you look at the list of numeric values. When you recognize, you see which of these values keep repeating. And when you formulate, you try to convert this into some form of an equation which we can apply anywhere in the entire diagram. So let's look at the part PT. The time taken to go from P to T will be 8 plus 3, that is 11. So if you look at this carefully, what we did is 2 into 4, because there are 4 intervals while traveling and 3 stoppages, so 1 into 3. So 2 into 4 plus 1 into 3 is equal to 11. Now, the number of stations in between, if you take it as n, so 1 got multiplied with 3, that is number of stations, so 1 into n. 2 got multiplied with n plus 1, because if you have n stations, the number of travel intervals will be n plus 1. See, if there are 3 points in between, you have to take 4 travel intervals, p to 1 to 1 to 1 and then 1 to t, right? So the formula becomes 2 times n plus 1 plus 1 times n, that is 2n plus n, 3n plus 2. Now I can use this generic formula anywhere. Let me show you this in any other part. Let's look at S to N part. If you look at S to N, N is 5 number of intervals. So 3 into 5 plus 2, 17 will be the time taken. It is that simple, right? Now we try to do it from B to T. So you have 1 into 2, you have 3 into 3. So the total time will be 1 into n plus 3 into n plus 1. 3 into n plus 1 plus 1 into n. So 3 into 3 plus 1 into 2, that is 11, right? The formula becomes 3n plus n, that is 4n plus 3. Now this can again be replicated in any other part. See how we were able to observe, recognize and then formulate a pattern to solve such questions. Now when you go to the questions in the entire set, every question will get solved like this. This is how you will be able to solve real questions from logical reasoning in less than 1 minute. Let's look at the first question. If Hari is ready to board a train at 8:05 am from station M, then what is the earliest that he can reach station N? You have to go from M to N. He's ready at 8:05 am. Alright. Now the train can only come in intervals of 10 minutes on the east-west line. So the first train that he can catch is at 8:10 am. He will take 11 minutes to go from M to R. We have already seen that. It's same as P to T. It will take 29 minutes to go from R to S. See the number of dots in between, just count that. 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9 dots. 9 dots means 3n plus 2, 27 plus 2, 29. It's that simple. And S to N is 17. So we already have 29 plus 11, that is 40 plus 17, 57 minutes. Is that it? No, you also have time, the stoppage time at R and S. So we'll add that, 2 plus 2. If you see, the total becomes 61. Add that to the starting time, you get the answer, 9:11. The set became so simple. Now keep asking questions on this. I'll be able to solve each of these in less than 1 minute. That's how you start thinking like an expert in reasoning. Have a look at this slightly more complicated question. If Priya is ready to board a train at 10:25 am from station T, and then when is the earliest that she can reach station S? Interesting. She's not starting from a terminal station. She's ready at 10:25 am from station T. Let's start. So 10:25 am, Priya is at T. To catch the earliest train there, we'll have to look at station B, 10:15 am, because on the north-south line, 15 minutes is the time interval for trains to start. If you start from P, a train will come from P also, but then you will have to start at 10:10. 10:20 you will not be able to catch. 10:10, the train, if it starts, it will reach on 10:23 and it will also leave. So you're not able to catch a train from P favorably. Instead, start from B. The train starts at 10:15 am from B. It takes 11 minutes to reach T. So that becomes 10:15 plus 11, 10:26. 2 minutes it will wait at T. So 10:28, Priya will be able to catch the train. Now 10:28, she catches the train. Now 4n plus 3, 15 minutes, because there are 3 dots in between T and R. She reaches R by 10:43. Now this train cannot move right. The train is going to A. So she takes a drop. She has to catch another train which might be coming from M. But a train coming from M, what time will it reach? Will it reach at 10:43 or not? We'll have to check. So again, in multiples of 10, let's start by seeing what happens next. Let's look at M now. 10:30 am, if you catch a train at M, it takes 11 minutes. So that becomes 10:41. And 2 minutes of wait, 10:43. She will be able to catch at 10:43. Right? Okay. Now R to S, 29 minutes. And she has reached 10:43 plus 29 minutes. You get 11:12 am. That's the time when she is able to reach S. Logically, visualizing, applying the formulas that you have been able to formulate after recognizing the pattern. That is the key to master such sets with perfection. I hope you enjoyed. If you understood the above two questions, you can feel free to write "got it" in the comment section or post a doubt if you had any. Retry the questions once more if you found any difficulty. Let's now sum up what we learned today in this video. Pattern recognition process memory, that's what I call it. Whenever you get a pattern based question in LR, Try to categorize the information into generic and numeric parts. Then list down the numeric details on the diagram if there is one. Now look at what part of these details are consistent. Observe and then recognize the replicable patterns. Which of these can I replicate in different parts of the question? Eventually, you formulate relations. That is how, my friends, you become an expert at pattern recognition. Whenever you get a question in anywhere you are practicing a book, a class, a test, after you have attempted, make sure you analyze the solution by going through these steps. Or whenever you get a pattern-based question in logical reasoning, think of these steps. You have to divide the information, categorize it and list it into generic and numeric parts. Then observe, find the replicable patterns and formulate relations between them. That is how you become an expert. If you like the activity today, do write "got it" in the comments section. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask them in the comments section. I would love to get feedback on whether I could help you understand pattern-based problems. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do it now. Next, 9 p.m. on 12th April, I have a special coming up for you. I will share an insightful video on what free certified online courses can you do along with your graduation. See you, pals. Happy learning.